You're tuned in to Ears Have Eyes on CJSW 90.9 FM, broadcasting from Mohkinstsis, Calgary on Treaty 7 territory in southern Alberta, home to the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, the Stoney Nakoda, and Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3.
The composition you just heard, titled Hyperloop, comes from Daria Baiocchi, radio host, professor of harmony and music analysis in Fermo Conservatorium, Italy, and the director of the Sound Art Museum Online in Ascoli Piceno.
Hyperloop was inspired by Elon Musk's fast train by the same name, a retro-futurist project proposed by various inventors over the years under different monikers: pneumatic railway, atmospheric railway, or vac train. Musk's proposed Hyperloop would run from Los Angeles to San Francisco using suction and magnetic propulsion. In her composition, Daria manipulated different sounds in sealed tubes, using glissando as a metaphor for speed. The work is dedicated to Elon Musk and Grimes' baby, X-A12 Musk.
Ears Have Eyes features sound art, experimental music, spoken word, and other recorded experiments from local, national, and international artists. We're your hosts,
Caitlin Brown
and Wayne Garrett.
Every month we organize our program around a theme. Last month's theme was In the Calm, which pairs with this month's directive, storming, busy, noisy, dense, and maximal.
A storm can be literal or conceptual. In this summer of profound environmental catastrophe, both interpretations held true at different moments. A storm is a breaking point, an eruptive moment of chaos, but it is usually long-brewing, perhaps even anticipated. Sometimes you can watch a storm come slide across the prairies all day long, see it forming in the distance and drawing ever nearer, until suddenly you're inside it, and all you can do is weather the storm until it passes.
The next composition comes from a Calgary-based electronic duo, Numb. Led by Mariam Servin and Milad Bagari, the group formed in 2010 in northern Iran. Specializing in electroacoustic music and audiovisual performances, the duo moved to Calgary in late 2021.
We're playing two compositions by Numb on today's program, each a 10-minute excerpt from a longer composition called Nothingness, Life, Nothingness. Recorded and performed in Berlin in early 2020 as part of the CTM Festival, the piece won the Radiolab Prize. Nothingness, Life, Nothingness is a suite of 3 parts dedicated to the 3 stages of time: past, present, and future.
The second excerpt will be played later on today's program. This is Nothingness, Life, Nothingness by Numb.
Faces with devious, hard smile. Blank faces with devious, hard surfaces with looming black dots. Blank faces with devious, hard surfaces like looming black dots. Blank faces with devious, hard surfaces like looming black dots. Blank faces with devious, hard surfaces like looming black dots. Blank faces with devious, hard surfaces like looming black dots. Blank faces. My hair faces. My head is blank faces. My head blank faces. My blank faces. My blank faces. Blank faces. Blank faces. Blank faces. Blank faces.
You just heard Routine by Lauren Wong, a Hong Kong-based sound engineer and serial participant in our Sound Art radio program. Lauren created her track specifically for Ears Have Eyes, structured around today's theme, storming, a combination of MIDI music and multi-track recordings from gigs mixed by the artist. Like much of Lauren's work, today's composition comes with a cryptic explanation. Definition of music: a pattern of sounds made by musical instruments, voices, or computers, or a combination of these, intended to give pleasure to people listening to it. Sounds that are arranged in a way that is pleasant or exciting to listen to. The art of arranging sound to create some combination of form, harmony, melody, rhythm, or otherwise expressive content.
You're tuned in to Ears Have Eyes on CJSW 90.9 FM. The theme of today's program is storming. You can learn more about today's artists on the hibernationproject.ca under the tab Ears Have Eyes.
Our next composition comes from returning contributor Dr. Tibor Dona, a Hungarian sound artist, lawyer, journalist, and founder of Synth X Loop Audio. The composition follows the literal narrative of sitting next to a boiler with a headache and drinking an aspirin forte in a crystal glass with fizzy water. But like so much of Dr. Donath's work, the piece follows an unimaginable sonic story all its own.
This is Fizzy Drink with a Boiler by Dr. Tibor Donath. You just heard a short experimental music track by Richard Gallant of Curved Walls. Titled Harp 12, Richard used the harp to create a bass line for bowed psaltery, followed by hammered dulcimer and nylon string guitar for definition. You can hear more of Richard's work on Bandcamp under Curved Walls.
You're listening to the final segment of today's episode of Ears Have Eyes on CJSW 90.9 FM. Our theme today is storming. Next month's theme is Haunting Me, Haunting You. Ghostly, resonant, creepy, and echoing. If you're a sound artist or experimental musician, you're invited to submit work to our program. Learn more at thehibernationproject.ca under the tab Ears Have Eyes.
We're ending our program with a pair of compositions by Jessica Wittman and Numb, respectively, moving through audio spaces from calm to storming. The first piece is called To Walk Along by photographer, self-described explorer, and lifelong learner Jessica Wittman. Developed as part of an arts-based research project, the artist asks, where have you been? Where are you going? What is being left behind or carried forward along the journey?
This work reflects Jessica's personal manifesto on sustainable communication, eco-grief, and how the mourning process can be interwoven with sustainability and queer ecology. In her words, we need to build a community around our shared grief. We can't hide it or ignore it. I want to explore where we go after we experience this shared grief.
After this sound walk, you'll hear the second of two excerpts from award-winning Calgary-based Iranian duo Numb.
The piece is a composition for electronics, voice, digitally manipulated audio samples, and field recordings.
Nothingness, life, nothingness finds alternate resonance when paired with Jessica Wittman's sound walk. Here is To Walk Along by Jessica Wittman.
When one is sad and feels the need to cry, doing so next to a birch tree helps to bring comfort and hopeful resolution.
And these are birch trees?
These are birch trees here. Yeah, little baby ones. Nice crisp air. Oh. Ripples starting to form, even visible underneath thin sheets of ice. Air pockets dancing. Textural experiences, infinite and open to exploration. It's hard to find the words to express this feeling of just existing. Crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. Branches from a trunk making their way up to the top. Yes. The life stages of growth, death, renewals. It feels good to be here. Hello. Hello. Good, how are you? Good. I'm thinking of an intention to set. Keeping my arms open as I keep that same openness and love. Ooh, a squirrel. crunch of a leaf there. Another little wooden bridge. Oh, hello again. I think we might have gone the wrong way. Yeah, I think we might have gone the wrong way.
Yeah, I figured. Good wrong way.
Good wrong way. I don't know. I'm immediately regretful of using the word wrong because this is such a beautiful part of the path as well. Lucky detour, shall we say. A fortunate detour. Holding on as much as I can to this feeling of walking heart first. The emotion sits in the back of my throat. Threatening to spill over into my eyes, which is okay. I can let it.